All right, in this section, we're going to talk about percents, and percents can be used in a few different ways. You could have a percent that deals with part of a total, and there's different variations on that, and we'll look at that a little bit later. But 22% of the population is this ethnic group, or 32% of the students liked that teacher, things like that. So it's kind of part of a total. You can also have percent change. Right, so with the stock market, you might see this a lot, or stocks went up 5% in the last quarter, things like that. So percent change, or even with body weight, they lost 5% of their body weight, or your BMI, things like that. So but it could be like a percent change. And then the other one is we could do a percent to compare. So they have 120% of what I have. So I'm comparing someone else to me, and it's a comparison type thing. So all of those percents will have problem types of those, and we'll look at those in a little bit. Okay, so first of all, what does percent even mean? The word per, we've been doing rates, so that's a slash, right? And then cent is century, cents, like in money, so it's out of 100. So a percent is just some value out of 100, right? So if I give you, say, 82%, so say you get 82% on our test or something like that, that means that you got 82 points or whatever out of 100 points. There's no units, because if there were units, they would cancel. Right, now again, there might not have been 100 points on the test, and you might not have gotten 82. This is if there were 100 points, you would have gotten 82. But I could reduce this and get maybe this. So maybe there were 50 questions on the test and you got 41 of them. But again, percent is always out of 100. And again, that makes sense because, again, we have kind of a base 10 number system. So picking something out of 100 would, kind of fit how we do our decimals. And a lot of numbers go into hundreds, so it makes it kind of easy to do mentally. All right, so to convert a percent to a fraction, you would just do the definition out of 100 and then reduce it if you'd like. Say that 40% of the students had brown eyes. Okay, so again, it means if there were 100 students, 40 of them would have had brown eyes. Now, it doesn't mean there really were 100 students, because you could, again, reduce this. So you might have, well, maybe there were 50 students and 20 of them had brown eyes. Or I could reduce this again to maybe, 10 out of 25 had brown eyes. Or maybe reduce this again, 2 out of 5 had brown eyes. So it doesn't really tell you exactly the part in total, but it says if there were 100, then 40 of them would have been this. All right. And again, to reduce it, you just put it over 100, and again, you could have maybe like canceled a 0 here and got 2/5 right away, but you can reduce the fraction. If you have something like, say, 4.8%, okay, so again, you can have decimals, percents. Taxes a lot of times aren't exactly, say, 6%. Some cities have 6.5% or 8.785, things like that. So percents don't always have to be nice whole numbers. But again, this would be 4.8 out of 100. Okay, so if it was a 4.8% tax, if you spend $100, that means you'd spend $4.80 in tax on top of that $100. Now, if I want to reduce this fraction or get some equivalent ratios, I could multiply by 10 on both of these, or move the decimal, and get 48 out of 1,000. All right. So if there were 1,000 people, 48 of them would have whatever sickness. Say 4.8% of the people have colds right now. Well, if there's 1,000 people, 48 of them would actually have a cold. And again, I could reduce this, so I could like divide both of those by 2 and get this. I could divide by 2 again and get 12 out of 250. I could divide by 2 again and get 6 out of, 125. And I think that's about it. So again, at the beginning, once I get here, I could have divided both of them by maybe 4 and seen what that did, or divide by whatever and get it to be a reduced fraction, and that's a 5 right there. Some of your calculators, if you put this in, and hit enter using kind of the ABC key, it will reduce the fraction for you. All right, I'm going to stop there for this video and then move on.